you, Brett.
I hope you all stay and feel beautiful.
Thank you, Brett. Brett has made quite an impression in our community about bullying, which is a problem that can have even worse consequences when it is not handled in a mature way like Brett has been able to do. And sadly, some forms of bullying can be physically violent and lead to more serious consequences like death or even teen suicide. But what the caring people in this room know is that violence can have many faces, from bullying to gang activity and assault and abuse, and violence has many consequences, many causes, and it affects us all. This program focuses on middle school students in an effort to do something in a child's life before it becomes a problem that is too big to handle, before kids join a gang or do something they regret. It is a time when we, as concerned parents, teachers, and community leaders, hope to have the biggest impact on you students. Do the Right Thing is a project of the National Campaign to Stop Violence. The campaign is in its 18th year. It started with a pilot program in Washington, D.C. in 1983. It actually grew out of the mission that the United States did in Kuwait. When Iraq invaded Kuwait, the United States sent a troop, Desert Storm, to free the country, and the government of Kuwait, in thank you to the United States, donated the money to start this program to do something for the children in America, because the children in Kuwait had been so deeply affected by violence, and the United States did something about it, and they wanted to do something about our violent problem here. It is now conducted in 30 of the nation's largest school districts in 20 states. Since its inception, over 1 million school children have participated in the challenge. The kids in this room are good writers, but the real goal of the program is to have every middle school student take the challenge. The challenge is to think about and answer 3 progressive questions. How has youth violence affected my life? What are the causes of youth violence? And what can I do to reduce youth violence? And when students take the challenge, several things happen. First, we know that the simple act of accounting for violence has the power to give young kids the courage to avoid or reduce violence. But there's a secondary benefit. The thousands of writings collected throughout the nation are anonymously analyzed in the aggregate and used by social scientists to study the problem of youth violence. In Palm Beach County this year, we had 19,194 students take the challenge. Palm Beach County has now become the largest number of participating students of any school district in the nation. It's now the largest participant in the program. Every middle school was invited, and almost every school submitted writings. But to be represented in this room, your school had to have full participation, which is defined this way. Your principal must offer the challenge to every student in the school, and your principal and the teachers have to convince a clear majority of the students in the school to participate. And I have 4 teenagers, and convincing a teenager to do anything is an heroic task. So to know that you're in this school is quite an accomplishment. This year, we have 21 schools who have full participation, and those 21 schools are entitled to bring their top 10 students to today's luncheon and be recognized. And in order to properly recognize the top 10 students from each school, we naturally invited their teachers and their principals and 1 parent per student to this luncheon. And of course, there are special guests here today. In all, there are a total of 600 people enjoying the very best food catered by the Breakers Hotel in Palm Beach. The entire cost of this luncheon has been underwritten. In fact, every single person in this room is the guest of the Florida Crystals Corporation. Florida Crystals is the largest producer of refined sugar in the world. Their leading brands are Domino Sugar, C&H Sugar, Red Path in Canada, and of course, Florida Crystals. It is a $3 billion plus company. It employs over 20,000 people, and it is headquartered right here in Palm Beach County and controlled by the Fanjul family. Please join me in thanking Florida Crystals, which is today represented by Pepe Fanjul Jr. and his wife Lourdes. But you need to know that Pepe and Lourdes do more than donate money. Pepe and his colleague Don Carson recruited me and my law firm to be involved, and his office personally judges the writings every year, and they loan us with their staff and their help. And, of course, the Fanjuls, Lourdes, and Pepe pay for the travel costs of the student ambassadors to go to Washington for the national ceremony. Now, in addition to being recognized at this luncheon, the writings of each of the top 10 students from the 21 fully participating schools were published in the book which is on your table. And publication is a huge expense and a huge undertaking. It involves typesetting, design and layout, printing and binding. But our steering committee feels that it is very important to recognize these top students in this way and to make these top 10 writings available for teachers, parents, and administrators. And these books each year are placed into your school library. And we've got just enough books here to give one per student family and one per school. We don't have reserved seating, so the books are distributed and there's a portion on every table. Please make sure that the students and the schools get them. If there's a problem, let me know. But what you also need to know is that the entire cost of publishing this book is underwritten by the William Pitt Foundation, which is represented today by its president and CEO, Robert Simsis. Thank you to the Pitt Foundation. But that's not all they do, because remember, our goal is that every middle school student have the chance to take the challenge. And we could not get the full participation without the cooperation of the school principals, and so we have a special thank you for the principals. You know, it is really an incredible job when you consider what it takes to be a middle school principal or the principal of any school. It's a job similar to being the CEO of a big company, only it's a lot harder and you don't get anywhere near the big pay. The principal is not only in charge of hundreds of employees, but in charge of hundreds of students too. And the demands of the modern day principal are seemingly infinite. There are so many programs, benchmarks, standards, tests, and projects. So, as a small thank you for making a big effort to get your school to have full participation, the Pitt Foundation, through Do the Right Thing, gives a no-strings-attached financial grant in the amount of $500 to the principals in this room who are the fully participating schools. And I want you to know that the checks have been cut, and they are waiting for you at the registration out front. And the best part, principals, is you don't have to do another thing. You don't have to fill out a form. You don't have to account to anybody. We know that you will use this $500 in an appropriate way. Thank you to the Pitt Foundation, and thank you to the state. Now, today's program is also being taped for rebroadcast on cable television by the Education Network on Comcast TV. And we don't yet know the playback date, but you can check in local listings because it is reported, and it will last several times. Greg Kinney is the educational programming creator at the network and the producer of this show. He's actually in a little truck outside, so I'm waving to him now. Thank you, Greg Kinney. 10, TEN, is just another reason why the Palm Beach County School District is considered one of the best school districts in the nation. In addition to reporting school news and providing information, the network provides lifelong learning opportunities for virtually everybody in Palm Beach County. Thank you to TEN for producing this show. I would also like to thank my law firm for underwriting the administrative costs of this program, but especially Alan Gallardo, who is a recent graduate from Palm Beach Atlantic University. He's the head of our Client Services Division, and he's done an incredible job this year, and he's in the back of the room. Thank you, Alan Gallardo, wherever you are. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. Now I want to recognize an important group in our audience today. Being a middle school student is very hard work. But being the parent of a middle school child is even harder. And as a parent, your presence in this room is additional proof that you love and care for your child and that the hard work is paying off. Will all of the parents and the guardians please stand and feel the love of your children and the praise and admiration from everybody else in this room. Now, at this point, if you are a student reader and you know who you are because we recognize you, we sent you a letter and you should know from your school, we're representing every school. If you're a student leader, you are requested to line up in the back of the room. Alan is back there, so you'll see where he's standing. Go to the back of the room now. Please stand up if you're a student reader. And you would know that because you would have received communication from our office and you would be confirmed as a student reader, and you'll go to the back of the room now and line up with Alan. We are going to put up onto the screen the names of the 21 fully participating schools for recognition. The names and writings of the top 10 students from each of these schools also appear in this book. And we are going to begin recognizing the 21 principals in their schools in order of their participation. Schools with the highest participation are first. And the reason we do that is, again, we remind you principals, we want every student to take the challenge. Yes, we know that these students in this room are exceptional, but we want every student at your school to take the challenge. This year, we are giving 4 special trophy awards that will remain with the school for display where you deem appropriate. And so, at this point, I would like everybody from the school, as I identify your name, to stand and be recognized. The first place trophy this year with the most participation goes, as it has every year of this program, to Palm Springs Middle School. Will everybody here, everybody from Palm Beach Middle School, please stand. There's a trophy on your table. Put that trophy above your head. You see it there? 1,506 essays. That's 98% of the school participated in Do the Right Thing.